Level 1. Innocent. You create a new folder on your desktop. You name it Miscellaneous. For now, it's just a simple way to stay organized. You save your first image, a beautiful landscape you might use as a wallpaper one day. You feel a slight satisfaction in capturing the moment. A week passes. The Miscellaneous folder begins to fill. Screenshots of recipes you'll never cook. Links to articles you'll never read. You download a free ebook on self-improvement. You don't open it, but having it on your drive creates an illusion of productivity. Level 2. The habit. Your desktop is no longer visible. It's buried under file icons. You create a folder called Sort Later and move everything there. Your phone pings. Storage almost full. You ignore it. Instead of deleting old photos, you buy more cloud space for a small monthly fee. You find yourself saving memes you've only looked at once. You think, what if I want to show this to someone a year from now? 40 tabs are open in your browser. You can't close any of them. Each seems vital. You install an extension to group them, promising to sort them this weekend. The weekend passes. The tabs stay open. The Sort Later folder now contains another folder with the exact same name. A recursion of chaos. Level 3. Anxiety. You try to find an old lease agreement. You know you saved it. You spend 30 minutes scrolling through lists like scanned_doc_03.pdf. The search yields nothing. Panic rises in your chest. You realize your digital life is becoming unmanageable. You decide to have a spring cleaning. You open a photo folder from 2018. 50 nearly identical shots of the exact same sunset. You try to delete just one, but something stops you. What if I delete the best one? You close the folder without deleting a thing. Level 4. Denial. You buy a new 2 terabyte external hard drive. This isn't a solution, it's just a way to delay the inevitable. You move the entire mess from your computer onto this drive. For a moment, your desktop is clean. You feel relief, but deep down, you know it's a lie. The external drive fills up within a month. You buy a second, then a third. You label them Archive 1, Archive 2. It looks professional. Your inbox has 10,000 unread emails, coupons, newsletters, social alerts. You don't delete them, just in case. You just mark them all as read. You download gigabytes of free courses, design textures, and photo presets. You feel intellectually wealthy, but you don't remember what you have. You download the same icon pack 3 times in a row, forgetting it's already sitting in your downloads folder. Your computer starts to lag. Too many background processes indexing terabytes of chaos. Every action takes an eternity. You spend hours just moving files from one folder to another. It feels like organizing. In reality, it's just rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. You decide to create the perfect folder system. You spend all weekend designing a complex hierarchy. Work/projects/2024/clients/active. The system is too complex. 2 days later, you start throwing everything into MISC 2 because you don't have time to follow your own rules. You realize you can't work. Your primary tool is paralyzed by your own past. You can't find a file you created yesterday. You make a radical decision. You select every single folder and file on your desktop. Thousands of icons are highlighted in a blue square. You create one single folder. You name it old_all_shit. This is your digital coffin. You move everything into this folder. The screen flickers. The process takes 5 minutes due to the sheer volume of data. Your desktop is empty again. A blank slate. You feel euphoria. Freedom. The problem is solved. You can breathe again. 3 hours pass. You create a new document. You save it to the desktop. It looks lonely there. The cycle closes. You realize nothing has changed. The old_all_shit folder is now just the largest, scariest folder in your life. You no longer see the chaos, but you feel its weight. That old_all_shit folder sits on your drive like a heavy burden. You're afraid to even open it. 6 months pass. You buy more cloud storage again. 2 terabytes now. Your monthly payment for digital immortality has quietly doubled. You realize it's easier to buy something new than to find the old file with the warranty or receipt. Digital chaos is starting to cost you real money. You try to show a friend a photo from a trip 3 years ago. You scroll through an endless feed on your phone. Your friend waits. There is an awkward silence. You don't find the photo. You feel shame. Your memories are buried alive under an avalanche of digital trash. To own everything is to own nothing. You stumble upon an ad for an AI organizer. It sorts itself. You gladly give it access to all your drives and clouds. The AI works all night. In the morning, you see the result. Thousands of folders sorted by pixel color or file name length. Perfect, mathematical, useless order. You realize no algorithm can know what matters to you. The value of a file isn't in its metadata. It's in the emotion you attach to it. You open a folder of photos of your children or pets. You have 10,000 shots, but you remember the context of none. Quantity has replaced quality. You aren't living the moment, you're just documenting it to be forgotten in a digital vault. You are a camera operator in your own life. You decide you've had enough. You highlight that original old_all_shit folder, a mix of fear and resolve. Your finger hovers over the delete key. You press it. A dialog box appears. Are you sure you want to permanently delete 1.2 million files? Your heart pounds. This feels like an amputation. Your brain generates excuses. What if my old Bitcoin password is in there? What if there's a photo of my first teacher? You feel physically weak. You move your finger away. You close the dialog box. The folder stays. Digital hoarding has won. You are a slave to your invisible property again. You lean back in your chair. Your gaze falls on a shelf. There sits a dusty, old physical photo album. Your hand reaches for it. You pick up the old album. Dust settles on your fingers. You open the first page. 3 old, yellowed photographs. Just 3. But you remember the smell of that day. You remember who was there. You remember why it mattered. This is true memory. You look at your closed laptop. You look at the stack of hard drives. You understand the difference between storing and remembering. You turn the computer back on. But now, you have a purpose. You aren't going to organize. You are going to liberate your life. You open the 2018 photo folder. 50 identical sunsets. You choose one, the one that best captures the feeling. You press Ctrl+A to select everything. Then, holding Ctrl, you deselect that one single shot. Your finger hovers over delete. Your heart is racing, but the fear is gone. There is only resolve. You hit the key. 49 files vanish into the bin. You take a deep breath. You feel the invisible wall pressing against you begin to crumble. You only freed a few megabytes, but you dropped a ton of weight. You open MISC 2. There is an article titled, How to Be Productive. You haven't read it in 3 years. You delete it without regret. You delete the memes that aren't funny anymore. You delete gigabytes of presets you never used. You ruthlessly prune your digital self. You realize that every saved file isn't a future opportunity, it's a debt from the past that you will never pay off. You create a new folder, Favorites. Only one sunset goes in. Only one receipt. Only one contract. You develop a rule. One in, one out. If you save a new image, you must delete an old one. You learn to value the empty space. Your desktop is clean again, and this time, it's the truth. You didn't hide the trash. You destroyed it. Your computer is a tool again, not a crypt. You sit in your chair, staring at the clean screen. You feel light. You realize true control isn't about owning, it's about the ability to let go. Your desktop is still clean. You feel proud. But old habits die hard. You see an ad for a stunning new icon pack. Free. Your hand drifts toward the download button. Your brain whispers, "It's free. It might be useful." You stop. You remember the rule. One in, one out. You realize you already have 3 icon packs you've never opened. You close the tab. It's a small victory, but it feels massive. For the first time, you chose emptiness over ownership. You chose clarity over potential. Radical forgiveness. You decide to go back to that old _ all_ shit folder. There is no fear now, just a task. You open it. Inside is the chaos of years. You don't try to sort it. You apply the scorched earth method. You create a folder called Treasures from the Past. You give yourself 1 hour, exactly 60 minutes to pull out anything truly valuable. You scroll fast. Photos of family, scans of essential documents, a couple of old letters. Everything else, memes, duplicates, broken apps, stays behind. The hour is up. You move those 50 treasures into your new system. Then, you select the parent old_ all_ shit folder. You press Shift plus Delete to bypass the recycle bin. The dialog box returns. Are you sure? Your finger is steady. You click Yes. The screen freezes for a second. The deletion of 1,000,000 files begins. You feel the physical tension leave your shoulders. Your hard drive is now only 10% full. Your computer is faster than the day you bought it. You've reclaimed your time. You realize digital hoarding isn't a disease, it's a symptom. A symptom of the fear of missing out. The fear of forgetting. The fear of ending. But hoarding everything doesn't save you from those fears. It just masks them under mountains of garbage. True memory doesn't live in files. It lives in you. You close the laptop. You stand up from the desk. The room is flooded with sunlight. You are no longer a slave to digital shadows. You are free.